Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, the Stormers at home taking on Connacht in what will be a very important fixture for these two sides. As you can see, Connacht sitting there in 13th. The Stormers sitting there in 10th, 2 points separating them, but whoever wins this game moves a lot closer to the top 8 and possibly even into it with how this competition does sit at the moment. Plenty of other matches taking place throughout these next few games though, so we will be keeping you updated on those contests as well. But for the Stormers, they are right on the verge, pushing towards not just that top 8, but perhaps even that top 5 or 6, depending on if they can get the big win. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, hang on a second, that seems like Munster rather than the Stormers. One moment, but while we're at it, while we're finding the one, we will let you know the starting lineup just off the list. One moment, it is Alistair Vermaak in the starting lineup alongside Andre Hugo Venter and Sazi Sunday in the front row. Morat and Ruben van Heerden will be there in the locking duo with Paul de Villiers, Marcel Tennyson and Evan Ruiz starting in as the number 8. In terms of the backline, it is Stephen Nkura alongside Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, and also Sinatla out on the left wing, Hudson-Berg out on the right, and then in the midfield, Damien Valimza playing as the number 12. A little bit of an interesting choice there for the Stormers, seeing as he has been playing sometimes decently in that 15 jersey, but they like to shift him around a little bit by the looks of it. There we go, we've got the pop-up now, and this is the rest of the site. What a collect. The last man who we didn't already mention, who is in the lineup, looking through at Connacht's starting lineup. They have got some familiar faces there. Someone like a Finlay Bealham to add a bit of impact into those scrums. Also, Kian Prendergast will certainly be one to keep an eye on in that number 6 jersey. Murphy and Carty, they all make up the midfield combo. But I would say this game is only around maybe 2 or 3 minutes away from kicking off. If you guys are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we have got that Bulls versus Munster match happening just around the corner as well. For the Stormers, in terms of their recent form, they were defeated by Ulster. They were then able to get themselves the win over the Scarlet the week prior, and also that South African derby at Loftus, getting the win. And the significance of this one, or that one in particular, was a little bit higher, seeing as it was a home game. For the Bulls next week, they will be playing Benetton. As you can see there, massive favourites heading into this game up against Connacht. Here, looking through at the other side of things, Connacht's recent form, they were able to beat Cardiff. They were very unlucky to lose that European Champions Cup, or Challenge Cup quarterfinal, I should say, 43 points to 40, up against Racing 92. Next week they will play the Stormers, and just as a little bit of a heads up, Stormers and the Lions pretty much just swapping off position for next week's contest as well. We have got the hello again, Hamish. Thank you. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hey, Hamish and Stormers supporters. Stormers don't disappoint, please. And Stormers will be too strong today, says LFG. And let's go the Stormers. Win for Grant Sports will be nice. Up the Storm, says Lose Nate. And there as well, yeah. Big favourites heading into this match. So hopefully they are able to back that up. We recently saw that loss for the Lions. So not exactly the start to the round that South African teams would have been after. But hopefully, we're going to see a much better performance here from the Stormers. And the big thing will be just starting the match better. I think that the Lions almost hurt themselves almost before the even first 20 minutes or so, just from leaking easy points. See there, this is a bit interesting. They are going to be wearing the away kit here, or the alternative strip, Connacht, and it's blue with a bit of white. Sound familiar? It's normally the colours that the Stormers wear, maybe a lighter shade of blue, but I guess that's for the colourblind side of things. I want to know whether or not maybe the Stormers are in black then, in this case, or else those colours will actually be more similar than if Connacht had just worn their green. And of course, do let me know your score predictions for this contest, ladies and gents. We have got what's your prediction on the Bulls versus Munster. The Bulls are going to have to play very well, but I do actually think, they have got the side to do it. And, I mean, that game up against Edinburgh, once again, a little bit similar to what we saw for the Lions. They just didn't put it together for long enough. In fact, it is Ruben van Heerden who will make his way out onto the field for the Stormers for his 50th match for the side. And Stormers must show that the South African sides can play with some kind of game plan and execute it. So here's Andre there. And yeah, like once again, strong lineup here for the Stormers. Would they like to have a couple other guys available? Probably, but they're working with what they've got. And this is still a side that can easily beat a lot of teams in this URC comp if they are concentrated, if they're working as a team. Just have to put it together. They have just mentioned about Franz Malharba being out due to an injury, which does mean that he will not be participating in this match, I should say. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, a lot of eyes on him. Last Stormers matchup that they had, some good moments in there, but then also a couple slightly rougher ones in there too, but should be a very entertaining game. Hopefully, fingers crossed anyway, that we get just all-out express pace between these sides and everyone is just absolutely going for it from the starting whistle. It's in Cape Town. Crowd looks decent. Let's see how it goes. One moment, we'll go like this. We will click that button as well. And there we go. Right. Stormers, they will be kicking off this one from right to left for this contest. Now, what a backline the Stormers have, says Anthony. Yeah, more than enough capabilities of being able to go on to win this game. And it's just about putting it together, isn't it? Making sure that they don't make silly mistakes. They are just rearing to go and put on a show in front of their home fans. It's kicked off by the Stormers. We are now underway for this contest. Nicely taken by Connacht's number 13, David Hawkshaw. Looks weird with Connacht in the blue with the white strip or the white trim, I guess you could say. Almost like a blended kit. That one is going to go into touch. Oh, and not a clean take on the sideline from Warakalan, so I don't think the Stormers will go for this one quickly. If you haven't already, be sure to let me know your score predictions. Do you see the Stormers side being able to get a home win, or will Connacht be able to cause quite the upset, get themselves a victory away from home? And at this stage of the competition, with them sitting in 10th, they need to start winning, or at least need one or two big away wins to get them into the top 8. Rush defence there from Jack Carty. Doesn't work out now. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu goes with the kick in behind. We'll take it into the 22 of Connacht. And will be tackled about 10 metres out from the own try line. Been told to use it there. Ben Murphy calling across some of his forwards. Now only 5 metres out, so actually losing more metres than they were gaining there, but it will set up a little bit more of an angle for him to work with off the kick. Be kicked downfield nicely and does find touch. And Stormers have this one, says Anthony. Okay, so you're going home side. And that's the thing, they came in as one of the biggest favourites of this round. So it would be a shame if they weren't able to get something going, just because they've got more than enough capabilities. They have got a fantastic lineup. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, talked about with high praise about what he's going to be able to do in the future for the Stormers. Now 22 metres out from the line. Stephen Nkura, oh my goodness, that was a massive bump off from Selman Morat sitting down the Connacht defence. A little bit of a juggle there from Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, but offloaded from Willemse. Beautiful skills from Sasha, and he will score the first try in the first 3 minutes of this matchup. Good afternoon from Cape Town, says Jeremy. Welcome in, and already the Stormers are on the board. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu linking up with Damien Willemse. Crowd absolutely loving that one. Does look like a good crowd, like I mentioned, in Cape Town. Quite a few green supporters in the stands, which is great to see. Okay, Mike Adamson, I can hear him in the background talking to someone, or in fact, no, sorry, it isn't Mike Adamson for this game, but it's a great offload from the deck from Damien Willemse, and then Ngome Zulu just showing off his pace. It's quite the try to start off this contest. Now, important kicking opportunity coming here for the Stormers. We have seen just over the last few weeks how crucial extra points can be. We have got there, hey Hamish, someone said that Sasha the 10 is actually carrying a bad injury and as he is being medicated, I really shouldn't be playing. Have you heard that before? I know that during the November internationals, or in fact it might have been in the Rugby Championship, he was keeping an injury quite quiet. And then it actually got worse and it ended up with him having to miss about 9 months. But I can't remember completely, so I don't want to end up saying the wrong thing. But someone was saying it was maybe something arthritis-wise. Is that correct, ladies and gents? Of course, some of you guys for the Stormers, in terms of the supporters, will know a lot more information than myself. But was it something to do with he had to be on arthritis medication or something? And he's only about 22, 23, maybe even younger than that. Now the Stormers, they are leading this match 7-0. They have started it nicely. Scoreboard does not want to give them the try, but was a very good one, and already the penalty is going to go against, I believe that was actually against playing the opposition scrum half, Shane Jenkins, or Jennings, I think it is actually. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu going to be able to kick this one towards the sideline. And it does just that. Nice clearance. See it there. Yeah, just on the wrong side. In fact, it was Dylan Tierney Martin who did have that mistake rather than Jennings. Now line out chance. Well, Andre Hugo Fenta needs this one to be accurate. That is one element of the game that if the Stormers can get right multiple times in a row, they can start to build that big momentum. Andre Hugo Fenta, that's going to be the penalty though. And a bit of obstruction in front of the ball runner was Evan Ruiz, and Stormers needs this win, says Dion there. And yeah, they're at that stage of the competition, sitting in 10th. You're not doing too badly. You know, you've got a couple more sides that are trying to catch up with you behind you, but the Lions losing their game, that means that they're possibly more out of the running. You've got, I mean, there's so many teams that are on the verge. 1 or 2 wins over this weekend, we will see a completely massive switch up in terms of that top 8 as well as the top about 12 teams. I mean, Ospreys, Scarlets, Connacht all on the same amount of points. Benetton, they managed to get themselves the win, so they actually boost themselves up into 5th place for now. Now attacking run forward from Connacht, just inside of the Stormers 22. Now back across to the right-hand side. I saw it in the hands of Kian Prendergast, which is normally danger for the opposition. Shay Mullins, some will know him from the Sevens side of things for Ireland. And also a Stormer, or always a Stormer, says Hendrick. And also we have got their link, says Willem. If you are in South Africa, it is on DSTV. And Stormers looking good against Connacht C team, says Eric. I mean, they can only play what's in front of them. I always say it, whether or not it is a developmental side or whoever it is, you still have to make sure you're winning. Because you sure as hell know you'll hear about it if you lose, if it isn't considered as their strongest team. 22 metres out from the line at the moment. Connacht continuing to go to this left-hand side, and now a bit of space opening up. Nice pass out wide, and it will be the try. No defence in sight. Shane Jennings scores it, and Connacht gets straight back into this match. It has made the sea of green in the stands extremely happy too. That is not what I expected out on that wing. I thought there would at least be someone trying to tackle Shane Jennings there, but he just found himself all on his lonesome, being able to run it in. We're going to see it here. About 4 or 5 Stormers players look like they were a little bit too tucked in next to the breakdown, and then just a little bit of width, couple passes from this Connacht backline, and they get over. Now line out, or sorry, not line out, chance at the post for Jack Carty. Okay, I think referee there, I was just listening to him, he was pretty much saying about okay, so referee pretty much saying there's no shot clock at the ground at the moment. So referee just checking in with him and saying, how much time do you want left on the clock for when you strike the ball? So that's actually, it's quite a nice little touch from the ref, allowing the players without any knowledge of how long they've got, rather than just saying, oh, you've been timed out now. Bloody Premier Sports showing Scottish soccer. See Jimbo there. Are they? I feel like Connacht's game, surely they'd at least give it a look, wouldn't they? But what else is there? What's the free-to-view one in Ireland? I always forget the name. S4C or something, is it? Is Lubbock playing? He is not playing in this side, no. They've got Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu as the number 10, and then Damien Valimza, he is actually playing as the number 12 in this match. Nice clearing kick from, I believe it would have been Ben Murphy. Soccer running late, says Jimbo. Oh, are they in extra time or something along those lines? Line out throw for the Stormers. They'll be 40 metres out from the line. Current score sitting 7-all between these sides. So a quick pace start. We did see 6 tries throughout the first half of Benetton versus the Lions. Thrown in now. Andre Hugo Fenta. That should have been maybe a penalty against Connacht for trying to close the gap in the line out. Stephen Nkura waiting for this one to become available at the back of the maul, which is about 15 players tied up in it, which does mean there should be some gaps on the outside. Nice leg drive from Damien Valimza. It's a couple extra metres. And who wants to work his way back into that Springbok kit come July. 40 metres out. Nkura go back into the pocket now to Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu goes with a little chip in behind. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. It sits up. Oh, he's just tried a fly kick and almost kicked the head of the corner fullback off. Now off to the left. Ruben van Heeren in his 50th game. Are we to the Football World Cup, Amish? Not sure, if I'm being honest. Like, we thought about it last year, but we didn't really get the chance. So I don't know if I think I cover New Zealand's games, perhaps, of the World Cup. I think the referee ended up getting in the way of that pass of Stephen Nkura, so it is actually going to be a scrum for the Stormers, and some would argue that this is actually the better scenario for this side. Okay, referee just saying there, clear message is slow calls, hit up. So yeah, just walking the wrong way. He got sold by the dummy there, the referee. One try a piece at the moment, the way that it does currently sit. Pack weight's 900 kgs almost for Connacht, only 1 kg off for the Stormers. They are 7 kgs away from that 900 mark. Oh, scrum reset again. You get a fair few of those today, I have a feeling. Definitely in the Munster versus Bulls game too. Should be extremely competitive when it comes to scrum time. Now, another scrum. Like I mentioned, already 2 tries within the first 10 minutes. Looks like a slightly different crowd tuned in to this live stream than the previous Lions game. They were a miserable, boring bunch, says Bruce. I think that was probably because their side was at times losing by 20 plus points. So it's quite hard to be in a good mood when your side isn't quite delivering. That's going to be the free kick going the way of the Stormers, and they will now shift it off to the right-hand side. Nice step from Damien Valimza. Wrestled down by Oliver. Off to the right again. Nice pop pass up to Andre Hugo Fenta. This is where the Stormers, they've decided to give Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu. He's going to try another little chip in behind, and his last one bounced quite nicely. That one taken back by Connacht. It means that it will be a 5-metre scrum now. Yeah, Jimbo, how can we watch? Showing interviews in the football, says the contrarian. I assume once the football ends, they go into the coverage. It's sometimes, I think they do that. Oh, what one were we? I think it was on Sky Sport here in New Zealand, and we had it, how we were waiting for it to finish, and they had golf. And they were showing the Champions Trophy and whatnot of the golf side of things when we were hoping to see the start of the match. Looks like Peter Dooley just getting a little bit of attention to his eye here. The medic is doing the moving from side to side, getting your pupil and your eyeball to follow it. Looks like he should be all right to be able to continue. I'm not sure whether or not it was a head knock or maybe just a poke in the eye. Connacht have won just 2 of their last 8 URC fixtures, both at home over Cardiff in round 11 and Benetton in round 12. So they've been on a bit of a tough run, yet they're still in 10th with a decent chance of being able to go through. I weighed 83 kgs, 81 kgs after KFC, Diet KFC. So here's revenge. And the BBC is showing the Ospreys versus Cardiff game. That's a surprise. So here's Fleshen. CONNACT pronunciation. See, the last live stream I just got corrected and I was told that it was Connacht. And now, so you're saying CONNACT? I feel like maybe it's just the Kiwi accent that doesn't sound right when we say it. We're going to Google it, which we probably should have originally, but we're going to go Connacht. 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 Happy with that, ladies and gents? Can we all agree roughly that that's all right? Connacht. Now, they've been told to use it there. Stephen Nkura around the side, gets very close to the try line with Evan Roos, and he does score the try. And it's a very good one there for the Stormers. Their second of the match. Connacht, says Jamie. See, the pronunciation online, I listened to it, and it's... See, now we've got Connacht, we've got Connacht, we've got Connacht. We've got, he can't, Connacht, says Toby. I feel like they're just going to have to be the green team at this point. Like I've got, it has the British, what about the American pronunciation? Connacht. Connacht. The British? Connacht. Connacht. I'll just say Connacht. How do I watch the Stormers and Connacht Rugby Match? The link on YouTube, please. Sadly, it isn't available on YouTube just because it is mainly behind a paywall. If you have a VPN, you can watch it on TVNZ Plus here in New Zealand. But it means that Evan Roos with the conversion as well. The Stormers sit 14 points to 7 up. It's 2:17 a.m. That is correct. And we have got another live stream at 4:35 a.m. that has taken place between, will be the Bulls and Munster. In fact, it's 4:15 a.m. In fact, now that I think about it. And a Dongle accent, it's Connacht, says Power Bite. So depending on your accent, depends on how it sounds when you say it, is it? And that's going to be a good break and run going on the outside. Chipped in behind. There have been a lot of tries already. 3 to be exact. All just running that one sideways. What a Callant. Connacht, says the contrarian. You ought to know, says Toby Hart. Currently 16 minutes past in this contest. For me, it's 3:18 p.m, says Jamie. A decent time in the afternoon for a bit of rugby by the sounds of it. Go the Bulls, says Luke. Now currently 5 metres out. Dylan Tierney Martin throws the ball in. Now looking to shift this one off to the right-hand side, getting within a couple metres. David Hawkshaw having to join that breakdown. That looked like playing the 9. Could have been the penalty against the Stormers here. Evan Roos, they're over the line anyway for Connacht, as the lady in the pronunciation said. Send the link to watch the full rugby match between the Stormers and Connacht. It's DSTV, unfortunately, if you are in South Africa for this matchup. If you're in Ireland, I believe it is available on Premier Sports. Why are you doing this at this time in the morning? The thing is, Lilia, that wasn't your name, was it? It was, I can't even remember how to pronounce your name now. I know that I looked it up last time. We're going to have a terrible day with pronunciations by the sounds of it. No wonder we don't do many Connacht games. But it's a great finish from Connor Oliver. Who do you think will win this game? Honestly, like both sides have had their fair share of attacking chances. And they've both pretty much capitalised on them. So I honestly think it's a pick-em game at the moment. We have their Stormers all the way, says Abraham. Who do you think will win this game? Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Let's go the Stormers, says Blues Nate. And go the Bulls, says Luke, of course, round the corner. They will be playing up against Munster. Game kicking off at 4:15 a.m. New Zealand time, or 6:15 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. I reckon they're saying it's an accent thing, says Jimbo. So I guess, what's the best way of saying it that people won't get offended? Oh, we have to get that double checked. Connacht is also acceptable. What about, so the lady on the Google, when I do it, Connacht is what she says. Connacht. And then American, Connacht. So those are either of those acceptable? Connacht. This live stream's been more me trying to pronounce it than it has been commentary at the moment. It's going to be a line out for the Stormers. Be about 35 metres out from the line at the moment. Over there, come on the Stormers, man, says Ruben. I really hope Connacht wins this game. Have money on them, says Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall was in I just realised that's the world's strongest man, or at least he was at one point, wasn't he? A nice throw. On off to the right-hand side, Stephen Nkura goes off to Damien Valimza. And the way that this game has been going, it's just try after try. Yeah, you've got to get the sound in there, but it's an auct. Now, nice spin from Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu looking for the pass, and he will get his second of the contest. We have had 5 tries in 20 minutes. Oh, he's thrown that ball into the crowd, they've said, and he might regret that because he has to now get it back so that he can take the kick. You're not going to please everyone all the time, no matter how you pronounce it, says Bruce. And that is some sensational work. I think a lot of credit also needs to go to Paul de Villiers for the way that, once again, they have been able to offload it and get it into the hands of Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu is just ready for it. Yep, and the strongest, says Eddie. I had to give a service once. Google pronunciation absolutely screwed me over, says Revenge. Now lining up this kick. He's only got 15 seconds remaining on the clock. And I say Connacht, but I'm Welsh, so what do I know? But the A, Hamish, I don't get offended by other pronunciations. I just think I'm right, says Powerbite. That kick has gone over, making the score now 21 points to 14. Yeah, really nice spin from Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu initially. It looks like the Stormers should win. It does in a way, but at the same time, you know, conceding 2 tries within the first 20 minutes is also not ideal. Yes, conceding 3 is even worse, but I think it's still really whoever stops the chain. Because now, if it's going to continue the way that it has, it means that Connacht is going to be the next team to score. That was close to the sideline, and in fact, his foot was out for Sibonello Sinetla. It does mean that they will now have themselves the line out here. Connacht from just inside of the Stormers 22. No one can understand Donegal accent anyway. And Connacht, please win this game. And Hamish, you master South African names. Now you have to learn Celtic names. It never ends. See a zero connection. Now it's going to be thrown in nicely. Going off to the left-hand side. Short ball in the hands of, would have been Che Mullen. Mullins with the S. Now sits up, wasn't quite the smoothest pass to O'Connor, but keeping this ball alive. That was almost a forward pass, but it did initially go backwards. And there is an advantage for in through the side of the breakdown. They can shift this one again for Connacht. Now, quick hands, Carty going one more chance again for Shane Jennings, who gets within 10 metres, and they'll go back for the initial penalty. And 5 tries, what the absolute F is going on, under 12s, says Jimbo. Yeah, currently only 21 and a half minutes through. And I mean, it certainly makes a half fly by, doesn't it, when you have try after try after try. Will Connacht decide to go for the 3 here? They're straight out in front of the post, but to break the chain would be quite sad. So they are actually kicking this one for the corner. Who's kicking for the poles for the Stormers? It is Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, currently sitting 3 from 3. Doing nicely. Will Connacht go to regret this decision of going for the corner, I wonder? They're going to be about 7 metres out from the line. So far, it's been effective. Anytime a side has gone for the try, they've been able to score it. Sounds like the referee already warning someone for yelling at him. That is not ideal. But now they are saying about waiting a little bit longer for that throw. Chance again here for Connacht. Looking for that rolling ball. They've managed to retain the ball. Now just getting that little bit closer. 8 is through the middle, I heard the referee say. So that is Evan Roos, and he has got his balls. He's got his hand on the ball. He might have his hands on something else too. We don't know. It's in the bottom of the maul. But going to be the scrum feed now for the Stormers. So turning down the 3 points was not the right decision. So everyone gets pronounced with a hard Afrikaans G sound, like you're clearing your throat, says Robert. And the legend Danny Gerber. We're never as arrogant as Sasha, don't mention them together, says Eric. And I wonder how Bundy Aki says it. Probably in a Kiwi accent, isn't it? Do you support Wales Rugby? I don't mind Wales Rugby. I hope that they do a lot better than they have been doing, that is for sure, as I feel like a strong Wales is a good thing. But, yeah, the tricky spot at the moment for themselves. Having a bit of a beverage. It's probably just water. Okay, referee pretty much just talking to the front row of the Stormers saying, we're not going to be doing tit for tat each scrum. He's told them what he likes. And what he likes is a solid scrum. What team do you hate the most? I don't think I hate any team, to be fair. Like, we've covered, as we learn on that last live stream, 1,900 matches on the channel. And, you know, there hasn't been a time where I've been like, I really dislike the team that I'm commentating. Sometimes, maybe I've disliked someone in the chat who supports certain sides, but, like, nothing against the team, you know? But then even that, like, isn't that serious. Like, it sounded like, oh, I really dislike someone in the comments. It's like, no, it's all good. Oh, we have there the Sharks, says Jamie. No, Sharks are a good side. They've got so many good players. I just want to see them find consistency. I think my problem is I just want to see every team do well. But if every team was doing well, it means that, unfortunately, like, it would be hard to see people losing. Would you ever stream on Twitch or Kick? Pretty sure you could show the game on Kick. You probably could, but you're risking a lot by doing so, because, like, Kick at the start when it came out, they were saying about how they were going to be, you know, free of copyright and whatnot, and then people got copyrighted. So I don't, like, maybe it would be all right until the rugby world work out where you're streaming it. Which team has the most arrogant coach? It depends on how you look at it, because there is, I believe, a difference between being an arrogant coach and a confident coach. And a lot of coaches are just confident in their own team's ability. So it's a tricky one. Like, some of them, I think, in a way, have the accolades to be able to be a little bit, you know, full of themselves and say, listen, like, I've won things before for different teams around the world. That's a nice offload to Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu. He has a hat trick. Okay, he's just having a bit of fun out there, it would seem. 3 tries in the first 26 minutes for that man. The 4th of the match for the Stormers. His teammates are giving him just some beautiful passes that are putting him pretty much straight through every time. Why the public on the chat ask you silly questions, says Aline. Well, as my dad's math teacher used to say, there is no such thing as a silly question, just a silly answer. So it's only a silly question if I give a terrible answer that makes it a silly question. On what channel are you watching, Hamish? I'm watching on TVNZ Plus here in New Zealand. Check back in a bit. Says Patrick, and Super Sport is very litigious. I don't actually know what that word means, if I'm being honest. They haven't done enough crosswords lately. But something company. And Sup Hamish, Rice Man here. Is my date wrong or yours? So my date is ahead because I am in New Zealand. He's hit the post with that one, Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu. And it's going to make the score now 26 points to 14. Some sad news for those who weren't tuned in yesterday coming up. Says Bruce. Is there? What was the sad news from yesterday? Eli elbow on the ground and they get a penalty, not Connacht. I noticed your gameplay videos with George don't have your faces on them anymore. Why is that? It's just easier, to be honest. Like, that's the only reason. We used to have the face cam, but it added an extra bar that I had to edit through. And for the career mode side of things, I thought it would just be easier to have just gameplay. A little bit similar to my solo career mode too. Now 22 metres out from the line. Rolling this one back will be Stephen Nkura. Oh, that one's gone very high. And neither man jumping up for it managed to get a single hand on it. It's rolled into touch. I don't know if anyone actually touched that ball. It bounced twice and rolled out. So it will be a Connacht line out now. Everyone a bit disappointed not to be able to jump up, claim that one. It means they will sue the pants off your backside if you encroach on their broadcast rights, says Kuba there. Yeah, so it's just not worth the risk. Like, I know that, like, honestly, we've done 1,900 live streams on the channel. We've probably been asked over 1,900 times to be able to show the game, and I always feel bad for having to deny people the opportunity to see it. But, you know, we've had, I think, 3 or 4 copyright strikes on the channel from not showing a single moment of footage. Just from the companies going, oh, he might be showing it, or he's got a few viewers, so he must be showing something, so we'll strike it. Oh, that's going to be taken back there by the Stormers. And we have the, are you streaming Leinster Ulster? I don't think they're showing it here in New Zealand, so it would be a match fee type of thing that I'd have to buy to be able to watch it. I put the kettle on, and another try scored, says Jimbo, and my mate got crushed yesterday under a pile of books. Here's his shelf to blame. Are we over there, Hamish? How long have you been sober? Says Revenge. Sober of what? I mean, how long have I been awake would be a better question, and it's probably about 18 hours. And come on, Stormers, don't allow Connacht to score after you guys had the score, says Arlene. Yeah, they've broken the chain. Stormers have gone 2 in a row, and they've already got a bonus point. I didn't actually mention it at the time, but yeah, 29 minutes in, bonus point on the cards. Connacht need 2 more tries to get them a bonus point too. And I was praising that game between the Lions and Benetton for its 6 tries in the first half. We had 6 tries almost in the first quarter of this one. Ref does not like the scrums today. I just heard him say 0 movement in a very stern voice. He does not want to see any sort of shaking going on, any sort of collapsing of said scrum. Now ready. Feed the ball in there for Connacht. They will be 5 metres out from the Stormers line, so honestly perfect position to once again cross that try line. Now going to be put in. They are just talking about no Malharba, no Nedeling for Shea either. Gone down again in the front. Finlay Bealham popping up, not happy about it. I didn't realise how heavily tattooed Finlay Bealham was. When did he get that all done? And when are the Sharks going to play? They did play on what would have been Friday night in South Africa, but Saturday morning here in New Zealand. And they did win by 1 point in the end up against Edinburgh. It came down to the wire. They managed to get the win in the final moments with a last-minute try from Makazole Mapimpi. Is that a joke? Says Jamie there. Do you get any compensation for from false copyright strikes? Unfortunately, burden every YouTuber has to deal with, says Zero. Yeah, I think definitely more streaming-wise, like copyright strikes, they don't affect your channel as much if it's off a video because, you know, worst comes to worst, you just get maybe a week where you're not allowed to upload. But if you get a copyright strike, you can't live stream for 90 days unless that strike is removed. So we've had times before where it's been the middle of international rugby and we've had a random copyright strike for something that we didn't show, and then we've missed like 2 good solid weeks of international games because of said strike. So, like, but yeah, you don't get any sort of compensation. We've been struck by the same person twice, and nothing came of it. I love dreams where I play rugby, but I can never beat more than 1 defender typically, says Revenge. Now thrown in for the Stormers. Thank you for commentating through this game. No worries at all. I'm struggling to find the game on IPTV Pro. You want to know where to find it, says Garen. Have you got a VPN, Garen, out of curiosity? So if you do, you can set yourself to New Zealand, watch it on TVNZ Plus. All you need is an email to sign up, and then you've got all the South African games free to air, as long as you have, of course, got that VPN first. Now, Evan Ruiz trying to go around the side of the breakdown. Off to the left-hand side, Stephen Nkura. Currently, the Stormers are on attack, and I have to say the Connacht side just let that one slip through their fingertips by not being able to score when 5 metres out from the opposition line. Now it's going to be another penalty going the way of the Stormers. 40 from the line. I wouldn't mind seeing a kick for the corner here again. I feel like they've gone aggressive for most of the game. They've decided the 3 instead. Can you predict your channel in any way apart from appealing the strike? Unfair on the creator? Sadly not. Like, because YouTube want to avoid getting sued themselves, they have to take it down when, like, they get the request from a company. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. Like, you probably could take legal action if you really wanted to against a false strike in terms of against the company that strike you, but I just don't think it would be a smart move to try. Sasha Feinbergen Zulu currently sitting at 3 from 4 today, 75%. He has also scored 75% of the Stormers' tries throughout this match. And he strikes it nicely, but it just misses away to the right. Is Ntuthuku Machunu playing in the Stormers now? Not sure, if I'm being completely honest. I know there was a Machunu brother playing for the Sharks last game that we covered. I think, is it Ntuthuku who's gone over, or is it his brother who's transferred? And the Bulls playing away, says Revenge. They are playing at Munster. That's another penalty, this time going the way of Connacht. He was playing yesterday, says 9HD. I like Edinburgh Connacht score from the wings, but bad from 5 metres out. Next season, says Ruben, when he's going to make the transfer. Finley Bilham, pretty slow to get back up to his feet. And that's the thing, with so many tries being scored, it has been a frantic pace. And there will be fatigue setting in as we get close to halftime. We're already 33 minutes through this match, which is absolutely insane. It also does mean that we are getting closer to the halfway point of URC matches, which means we are halfway to breakfast here in New Zealand, currently 2:38 a.m. I'm thoroughly excited to cook some stuff up after that Bulls versus Munster match. Another line-out throw. Does go to the back for Connacht. Slips through the fingers. That was an ugly one. About 3 players going up for the ball, and only one of them was able to claim it, that being the Stormers. Now, out to Hudson. Moore gets in the fend, but dragged down ball on the inside. Dan Douglas, he goes on the outside, but it's stolen by Connacht. I believe it was the big man Dowling who actually managed to get it, and Evan Ruiz comes in and plays the ball from the back, so he was offside. It's going to be another penalty for Connacht there. Looks like maybe a bit of an injury here for Stephen Nkura, who was next to that breakdown. Looks like, once again, about 2 or 3 other players also down needing the medic. In this case, Nkura very slow to get back up, but does want to continue in this game. And yeah, jumping up was actually Paul de Villiers, the man who popped with that ball. Such a good runner, not so good kicker, says Eric. Sounds like another Stormers player. Do you know all the players? I know a fair few. There's every once in a while that I mess up a name or do forget them, but normally it kicks in after a while when I can think of it. But yeah, we have to learn a lot of the players' names just for these competitions, whether it's the URC or Super Rugby Champions Cup or the Sevens. And we have to see how the Rugby Rock is going. Says Ruth. Now getting ready to throw this one in for Connacht. Once again, only a few metres out from the try line. Rolling ball chance here. Only 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Breaking off the back, and it's going to be Tierney Martin who does score it. And once again, the floodgates open for more tries. Now that extra 3 attempt from the Stormers, it seemed like a good idea, and if it had gone over, it would have been. But, you know, you're still sitting here with back and forth. Could be on 21 points here for Connacht. They have scored it. I would say it's a kickable 3 for Carty. And welcome back, Ruth says Zero Connection. Hello, buddy, says Ruth. And there as well. But yeah, just out and out pace from both of these sides. That looked a little bit high from the tackle of Sasha Feinberg and Zulu. How's the crowd? It's actually pretty full for this match, which is fantastic to see. I'm eating chocolate and drinking coffee. What's it called? I was about to say, what's it called with the chocolate hot coffee or chocolate coffee flavor? Is it a mochaccino? Is that when it's chocolate? Of course, just a hot chocolate without the coffee would be a hot chocolate. And that one, oh, okay, too late for Jack Carty. He said, I didn't know what the shot clock was. I think the referee warned him, though, this is turning into a Champions Cup match. So he has 9 HD, so an extra 2 points have gone begging for Connacht here. A Chocochino? Is that actually like the name of it? What's a cappuccino compared to a mochaccino? I have no idea about coffee. A Chocochino? Game is back up on Premier Sports, says Jimbo. Now Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, 3 minutes remaining of what is a full-time score, but we're going to be into half-time. I see taken inside of his 22 by Hawkshaw. Breaks out a 1 challenge. Evan Ruiz trying to hold him up. Now, back across to the left-hand side. Again, the back line looking not too bad. It looked a little bit high from Hudsonberg too. Oh, and off the feet from Salman Murat, but manages to pull out of it. These two sides have to be tired. You can't have 7 tries scored in a first half and not feel that little bit of fatigue. And Nate Velvety like Hamish's voice. Says Roof, oh, that's a bad knock on from Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, and poor from Carty. He's far more experienced than that. And yeah, they mention about it that they don't have a shot clock, which I guess makes it a bit more challenging. But the referee did say that he would tell him when it was 10 seconds or 15 seconds left. And I believe he did that. Carty just taking a little bit longer, whereas Hansen and Arki. Honest answer is I'm not actually too sure. Like, I don't know whether they're being rested or whether there's an injury in there or whether they're being saved for the British and Irish Lions tour or maybe playoff games. Although I would think for Connacht, they need every win that they can get. Who scored Connacht's third try? It was Dylan Tierney-Martin who managed to get himself that one. Isn't it crazy to ask who the third try is only 38 minutes in, and we could tell you who the fourth try is for the Stormers? We've had 7 tries. I can't get over the fact that there have already been 7 in this one. And dear Hamish, ideally, we were looking for commentators who could talk about both rugby and coffee. Sadly, we have to withdraw your job offer. Yours, Sky New Zealand, says Powerbot. Yeah, I've never even had a coffee in my life, so the expertise is definitely not there. Going to be kicked in behind, but it wasn't the best one from Carty. He ended up kicking into the back of the legs of one of the Stormers players. What a Calant playing halfback and actually going for a box kick. And he kicks it out on the full there. We'll have to go back to where it was kicked from. Connacht will get the last attacking chance of the half with 30 seconds remaining. And what has been a very entertaining first half, to say the least. The fact that we're just seeing try after try. And yeah, that one did go into touch. It was a good leave from Connacht's number 15. Fronin actually going with the option against a jumper there. Oh, beautiful passing. And now trying to break through was David Hawkshaw, tackled by De Villiers. Back across to Finlay Beelum, who looks like half his number is missing, so he might need a new one at half time. That's perfect. Hands now on the outside. They have got the draw and pass, and it's another one. Out on the wing. Second try for Shane Jennings. Do you drink tea, or have you avoided the caffeine or hornet nest altogether? I don't actually drink tea either. I haven't tried a tea. I don't know why, to be honest. Like, I guess I found I had enough energy without it. Or maybe it's just I don't drink hot drinks much. Like, I haven't had a hot chocolate in probably like 5 years. So that might be it. Was that the hooker that scored? Yeah. So Dylan Tierney-Martin the third. Now the fourth. Both sides have a bonus point heading into the second half. DHL Gatorade drink and mangoes for Hamish, Says Blues Nate, do you reckon an ecstasy tablet would just kill you? Says Revenge, no idea. I don't even know like what ecstasy really is. Like in terms of like what doses is the thing or anything like that. Now Jack Carty. So, oh my goodness, that one's missed away to the side by about probably 20 metres. And that's going to be the end of the half though. 26 points to 24. 50 points in the first half. We could have a 100-point fixture here. Ladies and gentlemen, I love your banter intermingled with the commentary. It makes for good listening, says Gary Smith. And yeah, at times we do get told that we talk too much outside of the rugby, but I think my brain just wanders. Definitely for these like 3 a.m. games. What games next week? That's a great question, Mocha, then. And we will show you. Because next week, where is it? There it is. Boom. These are the games that are taking place. The Bulls playing Glasgow on the Saturday morning, 6:35 a.m. New Zealand time. So that will be 8:35 p.m. on Saturday night, Friday night for you guys in South Africa. Lions will be taking on Connacht after they were defeated by Benetton. Benetton will face the Stormers, so those two sides are just switching around. And then Ulster are playing the Sharks. It's at 6:35 on Sunday morning. So good old breakfast after that, I would say, will definitely have to be on the cards. Also getting closer and closer to the semi-finals of the Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup. Hopefully we'll be able to cover at least one of those on the channel just around the corner. This is the way that the table also currently sits, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone wondering. Although I will mention that Benetton have updated that and they've gone a little bit higher. I believe they're the only team that has moved. Just at the moment, they find themselves sitting in 5th. There's still plenty of games that will be taking place a bit later on. We have got the Irish team's hands very good. Box have more brawl. And also can see the conditions are already affected. Pink-skinned Connacht boys. And what do you think of South Africa games for June? I don't think they've got any, unless they've got one right at the end of June. But I believe their first game has taken place in July. And 7 points to 22 Cardiff. So far, nearly half-time here. Okay, so quite a high-scoring game. Well, what would be regarded as a high-scoring game normally. But then we've had this game with 50 points thrown in there. OMG, Lions here is a 9 HD. And are you all okay, Hamish? I missed the Lions game. I was chatting with some crazy folks at the pub. Then came home and slept for an hour. A fancy Ospreys to win today. Flesh in Cardiff looking the real deal again. And that's the thing. We're at that point where every point is crucial and you need to make sure you're getting 5-point victories at this stage if you are outside of that top 8. Or even if you're in the top 8, to be fair, you still need to get those big wins. Because if you don't, you take that risk of dropping down and then you don't have much fun because you miss out. You don't get to play in the later matches. One moment we go like that, boom. These are the benches. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Stormers, it is JJ Kutsia as the number 16. They have got Matongo and Brock Harris, the experienced veteran, at number 18. JD Schickerling and Nell. Then Dion Forey is there, so the 6-2 split for the Stormers here, which might actually work quite well with the tempo that this game's being played at. Paul DeVette and Ben Loader as the two back replacements for Connacht. They've got Heffernan, Duggan, and then also Angia as the number 18. Murphy, Joyce, Devine. Also, Santiago Cordero, so the Argentine international, sneaking in there. I'll be honest, I haven't done a lot of Connacht games this year, and I didn't even realise he was in their squad. But now that I know, I am happy because I get to see him off the bench. Normally has a bit of an impact for Los Pumas, and then Janssen there as the number 23. We have got there, is there more games after this? There is one more game. That will be Munster versus the Bulls. So that's the next one that we are going to be covering on the channel. Afternoon, gents. Hamish, it really looks like you need a small nap. I definitely probably do, but we've got another match after this one, and then I'll probably end up going to bed at around lunchtime because I still want to cook breakfast, which should be a good idea. But I think the bloodshot eyes, like, I'm still wide awake. It's just the fact that the eyes are looking a little bit rough, I would say. The Bulls need to beat at least one of Munster or Glasgow, otherwise Sharks will go ahead of them. And we'll finish in their place at 2nd or 3rd. And then that's the thing. Home quarterfinal, of course, a factor. But home semi-final could be game-changing for a few of these teams. Definitely the ones who are better when they are playing at home rather than in their away matches. But second half of this contest, I don't think we will be a mile away from it starting up. And like I said, we've seen 8 tries in the first half. And you might have heard one of the Irish coaches tip Cardiff to be to be the dark horse this season. And so far it's right. And the South Africa team can still win the URC. I would say at least 3 of them theoretically can still actually win this comp. The Lions are probably the one that I'm like, not great, just at the moment in terms of points that they've got compared to how many they would really need to be in a realistic spot to win. What site is the game on again? New Zealand site, TVNZ Plus here in New Zealand. So if it's something that you guys have access to in terms of a VPN, then I would 100% recommend going for it. And the thing is, you don't just get to watch sport in terms of those South African sites. And in fact, while we're at it, we might as well give them a good old plug. PFL, they show that on the channel. They show some golf. There's... what else is there? There's those 3 things. You can also watch a whole heap of movies and also TV shows. Peter Rabbit 2's just gone on there. Oh boy, what a treat. It has James Corden in it. Cardiff on Fire, says Eric. And awesome thanks, says 9HD. Kung Fu Panda 3 is on it too, apparently. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they've got a whole heap of random stuff that you can watch on TVNZ Plus. You just need to be in New Zealand or have a VPN set so that they think you're in New Zealand. That's the big one. You got to make sure that they think that you're here. Or you could just fly to New Zealand and then watch it, but that's probably more expensive than Supersport. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, 3 tries he has scored throughout this first half. He has been on fire. Although his kicking has not quite been. I believe he has missed the 2 so far in this contest. Yeah, he's just been running some brilliant lines. Sasha Feinberg, Ngumbe Zulu. And I look to continue to do so in the very near future throughout this second half. But 4 tries in total for the Stormers. 4 tries in total for Connacht. So both teams, no matter what, will be walking away from this game with at least 1 point. Do you have Rugby 25? I certainly do. We've done a couple career modes and whatnot on it. They are on the channel. We played as the Hurricanes. It went all right. The game still needs a bit of work, but hopefully it gets better because they've got so many teams in it that it would actually be a really solid game if the gameplay was as good as it can be. But yeah, hopefully they keep on looking to improve it in the near future. I am mad at the Stormers, says Nisha. So is that because they conceded 4 tries, Nisha? Or for a different reason? 2 points in it, anybody's game. I'll try, but it's usually full of old Irishmen watching horse racing, says Flesh in there. But yeah, some really unique tries for Sacha in that first half. Flesh and what? Says Nisha. Wait, I'm confused. Which one did she say what to? I heard one of the Irish coaches tip Cardiff to be one of the dark horses. Is that the one? Maybe it is. But second half, do let me know your full-time score prediction. Some people probably wouldn't have predicted 50 points for the whole match, let alone the first half. So, question, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say that the answer should be no, but I'm curious. 100 points scored combined from these two sides in this game, yes or no? Will they get another 50-point half second half? Let us know. Late to the game, but wow, looks like the scores are crazy and it's close, Hamish. Which team do you think is playing better at the moment? I think that the Stormers have looked more elusive when they've had the ball in hand. Connacht have gone with the stock standard, pass it out wide, and it's happened a few times. There's been a lot of offloading from the Stormers. My Start TV has Smurfs 24/7 built into it. Says Revenge. How many Smurfs are inside of the TV? Revenge. I've never known how big a Smurf actually is, but I think it's probably about that. I guess you could fit few depending on how deep the TV goes as well. We have got there's always some young kids challenging me. I normally surprise myself, and 2 more tries, Connacht 4 more. Or 2 more tries for Connacht and 4 more for the Stormers. And the Scots and Wales, let's go, run them up, gents. And Stormers at DHL Stadium is always tough for any team, says David Simon White. And to be fair to Connacht here, they've met the challenge head on. They haven't shied away from it. Early try comes for the Stormers. Connacht went, okay, well, we'll get one. And then Stormers scored again. Connacht said, okay, we'll get another. Then there were 2 in a row for the Stormers and then 2 in a row for Connacht. Close out the half. No, we won't get 100 combined. Don't think so unless both sides unleash massive fresh bench. Says Viv B. I'm supposed to be okay with you and there's lots of expat Irish where I live in Oxford. I'm mostly from Mayo. Says Fleshin. And Connacht's second half. And also those old vacuum TVs could fit mini Smurfs. Absolutely. The ones with the massive box on the back. Isn't it crazy when you really think about technology and the fact that we went from a massive box on the back to now you can just connect your Wi-Fi and you can get pretty much anything on your TV. We just need the wind to pick up, says David. Yeah, there are plenty of highlights from this first half that they have been able to show throughout this half-time break. Seen 2 tries so far from Shane Jennings. And also 3 tries from Sasha Feinberg and Ngome Zulu. Do you think Stormers will make the playoffs? I think if they can get a couple more big wins, I'll just have a quick look and see how their road ends, because that can sometimes play factor a little bit too. So next week, they've got Benetton. That'll be a tough game, to be honest. After the way that Benetton played up against the Lions, they will be hard to beat. They've got the Dragons, and then they've got Cardiff. So I think that with all of those games being at home for the Stormers, they should have a pretty good shot of making it into the top 8. Now, I don't see them qualifying any higher than maybe 6, somewhere around there, but I do see them making it through to the quarterfinals, and it would just be quite a tough challenge for them when it comes to the quarters. Pinning for my beautiful mountain behind you, says Viv B. And also we have got 80 points combined, 44-36 is the score. Well, this one. Currently the Stormers would actually move up to 7th if they were to get the victory here. In fact, they could actually go all the way up to 5th maybe, if we're being honest, if they were to win a few more games from this point. Still more games to come, of course, in this round. The energy used by the old 37th Smurfs was mind-boggling. New TV's so much better, says Jimbo. Now, second half will be back underway, ladies and gentlemen. Connacht will be kicking off from right to left. How long we got, says the referee. 40 minutes, hopefully, will be the answer from Jack Carty. But ready to go for another half of what was a very entertaining first 40 minutes. Cardiff, home or away. For that one, Cardiff are going to South Africa. So that's why I'd say even with that, if the Stormers can find some rhythm up till that stage, they might beat them, even though Cardiff are looking good. Now, almost a handling error there from, I think it was Ben Murphy. Now off to the left-hand side, big shot coming in from Paul de Villiers, around the halfway line at the moment for Connacht. And Jack Carty looking for the kick in behind, playing a little bit of territory, but he hasn't quite got that one right. Goes into the in-goal area. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, kicks it downfield and drops his head. He's not happy. I know injuries or cards in the first half. None at all. Like a couple little knocks, but no one actually went off the field, I don't believe, with an injury. Now going short side, quick hands. Goes out to Che Mullins. Now Murphy. Back across to the left-hand side. Drop ball from Kean Prendergast, who we have hardly seen throughout that first 40 minutes of play. Been a lot more of the back line being involved for Connacht here, whereas for the Stormers, with the exception of Sasha Feinberg and Ngome Zulu, we've seen quite a bit of their forwards getting in those breakdowns, trying to force the errors from their opposition. And yeah, just slipping through the fingers. Do enjoy the fact that Evan Rus whether the man's dropped the ball or anything, as soon as he gets rid of it, no matter who he is, Evan Ruiz, give him a little push. Just make sure that he knows you're still there. Whereas this game being screened, it is being shown on TVNZ Plus here in New Zealand. In Ireland, someone said it's on Premier Sports, I believe, now that the football between Scottish teams has come to a close. DSTV in South Africa, and I believe URC TV for other regions of the world. Stormers is toast this season. The Cape should focus on the Currie Cup lol, says Outlaw. I don't know if they're toast though. Like, let's be honest, if they win this game, they move up to about 6th on the overall standings, which would then give them a pretty good chance of going through to the quarterfinals as long as they win 1 or 2 more games. That match up against Benetton, like I said though, that will be a pretty crucial one. Back rows are quiet, says Jimbo. Yeah, I don't even think I've said Marcel Tennyson's name. And then Connor Oliver, I think, was only at the very start that we mentioned him. Boyle's done not a lot. And Stormers, come on, you can do this, says Viv Bieber. Now another scrum. Still 38 minutes remaining. And in about 20-something seconds' time, we had a try at this point in the first half. Come on, Stormers, you can do it. Big start here for Sunday in that number 3 jersey. And that is due to the absence of Nedling Fouché as well as Frans Malharba. Off the bench, they have got Brock Harris. As Willem's on for the Stormers, he is playing in number 12 for this one. Stormers need to sack Dobson. They're leading at the moment. So that's quite good, I would think. But are you saying if they were to miss out on the quarterfinals, or what would be the situation going down on this near side? Right, referee's called for time off. The 2 hookers getting called over, so that'll be Dylan Turney-Martin as well as Andre Hugo Fenta. Keep control of your team's weight. They'll be going, we can't control what they're eating before the games. But now, scrum feet. Again, taking place. Still 50 points has been scored. Prediction of URC overall winner. I do think Leinster at the moment look hard to beat. Definitely if they have home run. You know, if they are away from home, maybe someone can cause that upset. But I think if they're at home, it's going to be pretty tough. A pity about Malharba, poor guy. Bad back issues, says Viv B. As Stormers have been underperforming for a few seasons now, says James. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, all well controlled at the back for Connacht. Now kicking downfield will be Shane Jennings, gets it into touch. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu decides that he does want to take that one quickly. Warren Hillant goes down the middle looking for the 50-22 of his own. Now Cardi is back and has time to be able to put the ball into touch. We're about 42 metres out from the line now for the Stormers. Oh, okay. I just mentioned about how it was a big opportunity for Sunday. He's now going to be taken off the field for an HIA. And Malharba back issues is due to carrying the Stormers scrum all season, says James. Although he hasn't actually been as great, I don't feel anyway, this year, Malharba, as he has in the past. So I wonder whether or not maybe the underlying injury was there. And then he's just tried to stick it out and tough it out for as long as he could. And probably got worse. Stormers should win the last games easy, says Outlaw. Now nice rolling maul. In fact, it's going to be Marcel Tennyson breaks away. Tackled low by Jennings. Into the breakdown, but they will go back for the initial penalty. Serious question for Bok fans. Are the Bok players playing under par since winning World Cup? All 4 URC teams underperforming. And their Bok's definitely not at their best, says Jimbo. But now 40 metres out. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu. Do they want the 3? No. Mahaba has had spinal issues for a long time. You're right, Hamish, says Viv B. Yeah, he just seemed like he had, I think it was, start of this season, he just looked a little bit, like, not in a bad way, a little bit smaller than we've seen him in the past. And I wonder whether or not that is because he wasn't able to work as hard or keep on piling on the muscle and the pounds. But yeah, you just hope that it's nothing too serious for him and that it doesn't cause any lasting issues for the man. And Connacht came from behind. Danger incoming. Says Roof. Yeah, the last thing that the Stormers want to do is allow Connacht to get back into this game. Although South Africa, or should I say the Stormers, have now got a very good chance. So the rolling maul is slightly moving here. Making a massive amount of meters, but here comes Andre Hugo Fenter around the side trying to get the clean out with Damien Valimza. Now back across. Sitting 10 meters out from the line again here. Low one, oh, bit of obstruction there. Moura was in front of Vermaak. And Connacht get themselves the penalty. Of course, Jimbo, they are South African after all, and injuries can slow you down a lot, something not right. I think it's a different story when they come together as the Box. When another team's less cohesion and Rassi is missing. Says Viv B. 46 minutes in. Still yet to have any points in the second half. Come on, Connacht. More these Stormers. Says Zhang. Of course, we have still got another game just around the corner. It will be the Bulls taking on Munster. That game taking place in Ireland as Roos international quality. He is at times. Like, honestly, sometimes he has games where he plays out of his skin, and then other times, you know, his temper gets the better of him and he does dumb things that could end up costing an international side a game. Oh, referee having to avoid that run of Connacht. And the worst thing is it's going to lead to the turnover. No, not quite. I think the ref was a bit more lenient there, seeing as he realised he had slowed it down. Now, big run forward from Kian Prendergast. Only team that will be moored, as the visiting team says Live B. Now, put downfield, nicely taken by Hudson-Berg, who got a very good aerial leap on that one. Can't believe it's 5 p.m. here in Cape Town, says Roof. I think today's just flown by in general. Like, originally we weren't going to be doing that Lions-Benetton game, but Super Rugby matches were flying by, and the vocal cords were not completely gone, so I thought, why not? And yeah, it definitely wasn't the best Lions performance that we could have ever seen. Now, nice attack and run forward from Waterkalant. Goes across now to Sanutler, and when he gets some space, he's hard to catch. A prop actually managed to slow him down. Beautiful offload from Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu. 2 Connacht players trying to get in there, both told to get out of it. Andre Hugo Fenter, 10 metres out for the line now for the Stormers. Tennyson pops it up. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu passes on the outside, and Hudson-Berg scores it. It was a great team try there from the Stormers. Of course, some individual brilliance from certain players, but overall, everyone getting involved in that try and managing to score it. But Hudson-Berg does reap the rewards of that try. 12 now for his career. I think they need some rest. They work towards the Rugby World Cup for 4 years. Club Rugby is likely to suffer, says Viv B, and yay, the Stormers. And Honeycomb Fenter and Funda Merva, but a nice attack and run from was Sanutler. Now, actually got caught by Peter Dooley, the prop, which was a bit surprising, but then Connacht trying to get their turnover in the breakdown, and from doing so, they just seemed like they left a few too many gaps on the outside, and then Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, he's playing with a lot of confidence today, and the good news is it's paying off. You have to see Northern Hemisphere down south. Says Zhang. That is a beautiful score. Classic Stormers flair rugby. I told you, easy win for the Stormers. Says Outlaw Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu. Says Nlumo, or it was Hulumelo. Hopefully I've said that correctly. I wish I could see the flair live. Says Viv B. I'm sure there will be highlights up of this content of this contest on YouTube, I should say. And that Rose clear out hurt me to watch. See, that's the type of one though. Like, he's a brilliant player, Evan Ruiz. But sometimes you just look at him and you wait for him. He's like a ticking time bomb. And every once in a while, he gets angry. Any idea Jesse Visa is out for after his neck injury? Oh, Jasper Visa, is it? Not too sure, if I'm honest. I'll watch the full game in a day or two online. Says Viv B. Now, Stormers, they have got themselves the 31 points to 24 lead after 50 minutes in this match. Another try, and Connacht are there. Well, that's the thing. Another converted try. We're back to 31-31. in this matchup, which is certainly a possibility. It is a terrible kick, though, from Connacht to kick it out on the full. Russo Honeycomb, who's the better player. It's a tricky one. I would personally probably go... I'd probably go Honeycomb, but aggression-wise and being able to have like that big break and run that just cuts the game open, I'd go Evan Rus. Like, I feel like they're both good in their unique ways. So Rus uses pure power to get his turnovers in the breakdown, whereas Honeycomb just uses timing and the skill of being able to get it right. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one to decide between them. Now another attack and run forward from the Stormers here. Visa out until the end of the season. There's Holton, nice run. There's Evan Ruiz powering through two individuals. And that is another penalty. This time going against Connor Oliver for playing the 9. Just seems like they've now lost their rhythm here for Connacht, and they're starting to maybe panic a little bit. It was a pretty cynical play, though. Like they've said, it was unnecessary. I think Nkura was trying to ask for maybe a yellow card to be issued. And like they've said, just the penalty for now. Lineouts one, we've seen 10. Not a single one lost by the Stormers. Connacht very inconsistent, says Jamie. And yeah, of their last 8 games, they've only won the 2. And that is really hurting them in terms of the standings. They're still 10th, though. They had some good wins early on in this competition. Evan Ruiz once again on the short side, gets within 3 metres of the try line. The Stormers looking to strike again right after the 50-minute mark. Now, Nkura and Stormers must remain disciplined, absolutely. If they end up giving away a few more penalties, they could find themselves with a man in the bin. And those type of moments could end up costing them the game. Ruiz again wrecking ball, says Jimbo. Now, pick and go looks like it is going to be on the cards. Deciding against going across to Paul de Villiers. Now, pick and go again. Losing a couple metres there and falling the wrong way. Ball has come out on the side of Connor Oliver. But I think that's actually against Dowling. My apologies for being offside. And here, chats, could you kindly please hit the likes and new subscribers, hit the links above the chat. Thank you. Says Lewis Nuggy. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more URC coming up in the near future. Alongside that, we are doing the Champions Cup. Like I said, Super Rugby, International Rugby coming up. The British and Irish Lions taught the 7s. When I list it like that, I realise that that's quite a few things. I'm away down at the pub. Thanks for the commentary, Hamish. No worries at all, Flesh, and enjoy your time down at the pub. I believe that the 2 front runners for the box to replace Visa, Rus and Honeycomb. Says Vibs there. All no advantage there. Going the way of the Stormers. 27 minutes left. I think the referee's just trying to find a grounding under a pile of about probably 5-6 players. Not going to be the easiest thing to do. Right. That's now 2 penalties just out from the line. I hear the referee saying in the background to the... Who was that? It was the Connacht captain, I think he was actually talking to. When is Eldrick Lowe back? Another young player who has injury issues. I haven't actually heard anything about Eldrick Lowe's return date yet. I'd like to think that it wouldn't be a mile away, but to be honest, like, it's really hard to tell with certain players, and sometimes it is a lot longer than you first anticipate. Evan Ruiz again going around the side of the breakdown, and that will be another penalty advantage. This could be bad for Connacht here. Damien Valimza trying to push his way over the line, but he will be one out again. Evan Ruiz bumps off. Was Connor Oliver. Reaching legend level now, says Corey, and referee reaching into the pocket. It's not what Connacht needed. Definitely not when they are currently down by the 7, and now they're going to be down by 1 in terms of the numbers on the park. So Lions are back their old selves from that time they were kicked out of Super Rugby. Says Revenge. Is Hamish an identical twin? Sadly not, but if I was, that would actually be a really good setup. Because that way, one of us could be on the Northern Hemisphere time zone and the other could be on Super Rugby. If only. My mum is actually a twin, so it's quite disappointing that I haven't got the identical twin from the genes. But that would have been a brilliant idea. It means that I could have done the Super Rugby, slept, URC brother comes in. Or maybe I do have a twin and I just haven't told you. Maybe. Discipline and silly mistakes. Did Benetton beat the Lions? They certainly did, yes. In the end, they were able to win that game 42 points to 31. And oh dear, Yellow and Hamish usually skips, or twins usually skip a generation. So you may have twins. There you go. Do they actually skip a generation? So does that mean that if I was to have twins, they possibly wouldn't have twins, but then my grandchildren would be a possibility of a twin? Maybe. If the Stormers win, where are they on the log? They would move up to 6th, I believe, in the way that they currently sit. So that is promising. Also, there is another game taking place at the moment, though, so some things can change a little bit depending on the scores. That'll be a fierce, handy tag team commentary combo, says Corey Leahy. And also, Drew Hamish, the twin brother of Kiwi lads, be rocking. Right, we've got another scrum reset here. Referee has not been happy with them pretty much at all throughout the whole day. Twins, have you seen that movie, Hamish? I haven't seen a lot of movies, if I'll be honest. My sister looks like me. It's gross, says Revenge. I'm sure she feels the same way, though, wouldn't she? It looks like an epic game, this one, says James. Yeah, we've already had the 55 points. Yes, your wife could have twins, then your great-grandchildren. So my great-grandchildren. So then does it skip 2 generations for the next one down? My granddad's also a twin, now that I think about it, which is my mum's dad. So it went twin, twin. Wait, twin, twin, then I didn't become a twin. And then, I guess, we will soon find, well, we won't soon find out. We'll find out at some stage, maybe. I got to leave the house first. Huge congratulations, Hamish, and building this rugby community /James channel. Thank you very much, James. But at the end of the day, like, yes, I sit here and talk a lot, but you guys tune in. And without you guys in the chat, they wouldn't be anywhere near as fun to do. Twins is a great movie, says James, and Stormers front row need to sort that out. Waste of a chance. Now, line out throw here for the Stormers. Between Coffee and Twin Jet, this combo has it all, says Rian. Nicely taken by the Stormers. Paul de Villiers goes back across to Nkura. Damien Valimza looking for the kick behind for Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu. And that one's going to be cleaned up by Jennings. Maybe you or sibling could have twins. Maybe. Your children's if it skips a generation. Unusual for twins to have twins. Is it? See, my granddad, well, I guess, my granddad, who was a twin, had a twin. But then I guess, because it's like a twin of a male and a female, but then my uncle didn't, I'm confused now. Twins was excellent. I couldn't imagine Arnie with a Kiwi accent, or Hamish with an Austrian twang, says Corey. B. Murphy just getting a little bit of a chat there with the referee. Apparently still another 23 minutes remaining in this contest. Some nervous faces around for Connacht. Definitely because if they concede another try here, they could be in a lot of trouble. Now ready to throw it in again. Andre Hugo Fenta, beautifully taken by Marcel Tennyson. Now Stormers trying to move. Oh, it's popped out the side. I don't think anyone knew where that ball actually was, but Paul de Villiers came out and managed make a couple of meters. Now Sandy driven backwards and a good shot. So he must have passed his HIA as he's back out there on the field. Oh, I can tell you guys though with confidence, I actually watched a movie recently. And I know that that sounds like a weird thing, but as some of you will know, I don't think I could remember the last movie that I had seen. But I watched Scream because it seemed like a good idea since it was leaving Netflix. Don't know why I went with a horror movie, but it wasn't that bad, I will say, in terms of scariness. And we have their Stormers would be below Munster on 39 points, simply on points difference, I think. Munster play the Bulls at home tomorrow, says Cameron Kay. And come on, only 7 points in it, says Ruth. It looks like Devine has made his way onto the field now. That is for Murphy. You never watch movies? You okay there? Well, not a huge amount of them. I couldn't remember what the last movie I watched was, but now I know what the last one was, and it was Scream. So now I have that answer anytime someone asks what it was. She says she's the pretty one. I mean, everyone knows it's me, says Revenge. And somebody going to try now, please, says Ruth. Yeah, it has certainly slowed down in the second half. We've gone 18 minutes with just the one try. But it had to slow down because at the end of the day, we can't have 8 tries every half. I think the teams were starting to feel it. And also the coaches would have noticed a couple things in their defence. Could have been switched up. What a Kalant going across to Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu now. Quick hands. Dan Duplessis goes out to Sanatla. Moves up to the halfway line. Connacht's still down a man for another 5 minutes. A scream is a comedy, says Jimbo. Well, that's probably why it wasn't scary then. And how are the Aussies feeling about the Lions tour? Confident? How are the Aussie teams doing in Super Rugby? They aren't doing too badly. They're all, or at least they were all inside of the top 6. I think that's the way that it still is at the end of this round. Now, what are your thoughts on Rico moving to Leinster? I hope it helps him find form. Like, as much as he can be a tremendous player, but it just hasn't gone right for him at times over the last couple of years. If Connacht win, where will they be on the table, says Jamie. I believe that would actually move them up into the top 8. This is how it's sat without the Benetton win. So Benetton have now gone up, which puts Edinburgh down to that 7th spot. So Connacht, with a win, would actually move, depending on how much they won by. They've got the bonus points, so they'd actually go above Edinburgh and also above Ulster. So they'd move up to 6th. Maybe? No. In fact, they'd move up to 7th if they were to get the win. But of course, there are a few other games that are still taking place as well. Scream is self-aware of its own genre. And Connacht with absolute heartbreak last week. This will be an unlikely bonus, says Corey. Yeah, losing by 3 points after scoring 40 is always going to be brutal. Definitely up against Racing 92, where they looked like they had a really good shot of doing it. That's him. I think he's been in a few TV shows since. But I'm about 20 years behind all the series I should have watched. That's going to be another penalty. Here going the way of Connacht. It is against Stephen Nkura. Feel as if it sits now the box lifting the 2027 World Cup. I'm sorry, no team are stopping them. AB's France and Ireland, Aussie will be competitive, but not win it. Says Cameron, you enjoying the fast pace or the fast game and passing? Says Juan, it's been good. In fact, it's been that fast paced that at times we haven't even been able to say every single pass that has happened, which is always a good sign of a quick game. And it looks like we're about to see 6 players make their way onto the field at the same time here for the Stormers. And just way too much depth in South Africa and too much class, says Cameron K. And hi from Bogota in Colombia. Go the Stormers. So they are just showing the live table. The Stormers would move up to 7th if they were able to get the win here. And now nice inside ball, passing it off across to the left. Now, back to the side again. Big shot coming in. My 2 hometowns facing off in this game. I can't lose, says Juan. 15 metres out from the line. Devine goes off to Prendergast. Connacht want a good chance of winning. If scoring during this period of time is what they need to be able to find their rhythm, then they certainly aren't far away from it. Nice run again from Jennings. Been a pure handful, and the penalty goes the way of Connacht again. I watched it when I was 8, and it is the only scary movie I ever saw. Says Revenge in South Africa versus New Zealand at Eden Park. Test of the year, folks. Says Corey, and come on, Connacht, time to sort these Stormers. Right, looks like they are actually going to be opting for the 3 points here for Jack Carty. And that's also going to use up an extra. Oh, no, sorry. They passed it off to Carty, but he will kick it into the corner. So Stormers, last time they tried this, it did get dragged down and they were unsuccessful in their venture towards the sideline or towards the touchline. And thanks, Ruth. Did you get through the half dozen Castle Lagers? And Mold Squad Time says, Jimbo, yep, we're going to see a whole heap of changes made at the same time. It looks like 6 to be exact. So the players who have made their way onto the field: JJ Coetzee, Vernon Matonga. There is Brock Harris, JD Schickerling, Dion Foree, and low now. Last man making his way on. 62 minutes through in this matchup now. It is all to play for. And I shame the Lions, says Albert. Why is that knocked down? Not a yellow card, says Eric. I think it's because of how far out from the line it was. Would be my only guess. And also I think they just ruled it as a penalty. Possibly. I hope Schickling is a good replacement for Malharba. Says Viv B. Now only a few metres out from the line here for Connacht. Devine looking to get that ball away to the side. Off to Connor Oliver. Now passing across here. They are getting just a little bit closer, but this would be the perfect time, like I said, to get themselves a try right when the Stormers feel like they have the advantage because of the extra man. Now passing on the outside. Oh, now he got two hands to it for Sergio Peterson. Oh, no, he didn't. They say it's one-handed. This is looking like a yellow card. And it is called, it's Watercalant, in fact. And that is a pretty rough one. I thought he actually got two hands to that one initially. I think they've said that it was still a deliberate action to try and knock it downwards. And no, Lance says Viv. And that's the thing. They were just up against 14 men. Oh. See, that one's more unlucky, I would say. We have there to quote Aussie Man. I think we all need a Pandalovian, a medium, strength lager. I have booked a one-way ticket to Destination F. You'll get it if you get it, says Robert. Watercalant, he is not happy about it. And Alant, the weakest link. Says Albert, this looks like a heavily strapped leg here for... Oh no. Dion Foree making his way off the field, ladies and gentlemen. He made his way on 1 minute ago. So unfortunately for him, his day's going to be over again. We have got the ref botch first goal, so Halant goes. Says Jimbo, but yeah, massive concern for Dion Foree. Does mean that Ben Loader comes onto the field for Sinatla. And that will be I guess that's a roundabout replacement that actually works in the Stormers' favour. And Foree, poor guy, he's nearly 40. Yeah, decided to come back, trying it off the bench. And then I don't even know if he made a tackle or anything like that, or whether it was just that the knee gave way. And good call, Roof. Nice one with the coffee call. Commentary is electric here, so it's a form of coffee. Says Corey, but now rolling more here for Connacht. Waiting patiently for the chance to be able to use it. Trying to get his hands on that was JD Schickling. Short ball, looked flat to Jennings. Oh, is that not a penalty try? They did have cover defence in that case. Now, going off to the right-hand side here for Connacht. They want 7 points while being 14 versus 14. That was extremely close. Come on, Connacht. Says Jamie there too. Now trying to bundle his way over the try line. Now, off to this right-hand side for Devine. This is a very crucial moment for Connacht because they have to make sure that they get over. Can't afford to keep on going for the 7 rather than the 3, and that's going to be held up. Brilliant defence, but they go back for another penalty. It's going to be offside against J.J. Kurtz here. A couple other changes are about to be made. Joe Joyce making his way on. And also Ford comes back on after his yellow card. Come on, the Stormers, keep them out and put pressure on them. You must, says Viv B. I think as long as Russie is there, the Bok will be the best team. Or the team to beat, says Tian. And Connacht not good enough for 5 metres out, says Jimbo. And they've tried it again. Passes across to Ford, who gets hit hard by Hudson-Berg now. Kian Prendergast. They close it out here. Connacht. Just seems like every time that they get close, the Stormers have got a number, or at least an answer, for how they're trying to attack. I wish I had 10 billion rand, as I could give the Kiwi lads a 10 rand donation. Says Revenge. That is extremely generous of you. Revenge there. Oh, that's over the line this time. And Connacht will now score. Stormers have to defend like demons, no penalties. And there was no one ahead of Connacht wing when Warwick knocked the ball out. Why no penalty try? I think it's because of the uncertainty of the pass as well, because of how high it was. I think they're working on the theory that it could have gone over him, it could have gone anywhere. So, yeah, it's normally they err on the side of caution. But Connacht have got their try anyway. We've got there Chris White from USA at the game. Big Stormers gonna, I think, Samish. Says Obi there, and cool story, you're hilarious. Says Ruth. Now another opportunity here for the kick. Jack Carty. Ready to go for this one. He's sitting 2 from 4 today, so hasn't been the best off the kicking. Two players latch the score him. Says Jimbo, and it does hit the post and bounces over, does it? Or did it come back? No, it might have come back there. So it is unsuccessful for Carty, who was sitting 2 from 5. And on the Connacht, as it's going to be a flip and draw, no, says Viv B. Well, that kick has missed, so the chances of the draw has gone slightly further down. Only the 13 minutes remaining now, but an important try for Connacht there. And they have now got a man advantage for the next 8 or so minutes. In fact, no, 6.5 minutes, sorry. And Hamish, when you're going to have some pizza again? I'm not sure. Last time I had pizza, it was all right, but it wasn't the best pizza I've ever had. So I feel like now I'm not craving it anymore. If that makes sense. Fully agree, Ruth. I think time zones are just erased on this channel. It's great stuff, says Corey. Nicely taken inside of the 22 from Che Mullins. Wrestle towards the touchline from Sinatla. Does manage to just stay inside of the field of play. I'm not sure if Santiago Cordero has made his way onto the field as of yet. I've got there, I fully agreed, Ruth. Oh no, I read that one. And must send you some true Cape brandy, says Obi. And good luck the Stormers, says Revenge. That one's gone into touch. Now be the line-out opportunity. I think that Connacht just know that they can't afford to risk anything inside of their 22, because if they do, it's where the Stormers have been able to get that counter-attack going. Of course, after this game, we have got another match taking place between Munster and the Bulls. It's going to be kicking off in around, I believe our live stream is going to be starting in 30 minutes or so time, but that match is going to be kicking off in 50 minutes? No, sorry, 40 minutes time. That was really poor from myself. Doing the maths in the head was not going well. Holy smokes, this is some game. Says Power Bite, and Paul the Vet now makes his way onto the field with Stephen and Kura. And Sharks was by 1. And maybe another 1 pointer and come on the Stormers. Even if we win by 1 point, it doesn't matter, says Leon. No, come on the Stormers, says Ruben. It's going to be overthrown. Well claimed, though, from JD Schickerling. But it was called as not straight. In fact, no, little knock on from that maul. And what the logo's Angel holding the Sword Dragons, says Blues Nate. And Connacht now 3 away 0. And that's the thing. They could take a 3 here if they get close enough to the line, of course. And that would give them the lead. Both sides have the bonus points. So whoever wins this is going to get 5 points. Whoever loses it, I would like to think will get 2. For 1 with the 4 tries, 1 with being within 7. But there's still enough time that either side could actually extend that lead to more than the 7 points, particularly the Stormers if they were to score themselves another try. Carty, some way off Carter. And Stormers, please pull together and win this, says Viv B. Now another scrum. Oh, that one has gone down very quickly. Scrums have been pretty ugly all day, I do have to say. We've seen a lot of resets. Now 4 minutes still remaining of that Stormers yellow card. So the moment the win predictor has them 73% likely to be able to go on to win this game. Connacht are sitting as a 25%. Which scrum is stronger? Honestly, it's been really hard to tell for this game. I think that the Stormers have had their good moments, but then also I think that Connacht have also held their own at scrum time and sometimes got a bit of a push on them as well. But because we've had so many resets, it always makes it pretty hard to tell. But that's a big early push from the Stormers, and they get the penalty because of it. They have just bulldozed over the top of Connacht scrums, so you could argue that has become the stronger, but it was a good push from Vernon Matongo. And severely even the scrums. I think so, but this is now going to be a kick for the corner from the Storm. Oh, no. Wait. What's happened here? The confusion has come in. Sasha Feinberg Zulu, I think originally he was kicking for the corner, and then they switched their mind, and they said, actually, we'll kick for the 3. Luckily, the referee didn't see them say we'll go for the corner, or else I believe they're not allowed to change that decision, so fairly even. Oh, yeah, great scrum, Stormers, says Liv B, or Viv B, I should say, and come on the Stormers, cheerleaders start twerking at distraction. Says Blues Nate, it looks great at the stadium now, the sun's past, beer and rugby time. So here's a Jimbo. Now Sasha Feinberg Zulu, this will give them a bit more of a lead. It will be 5 points. But that still might not be enough. I think they need a couple more extra. They melted the tight head there. Says Jimbo. So he has missed 3 out of his 6 attempts today. Please, Sasha Feinberg Zulu, you can do this. Says Viv B. He struck it well. Got the distance, and it's gone over. So 34 points to 29 now. The score sits with just 9 minutes remaining. 2 minutes left of the yellow card. Another tense game at the end coming up, says, was there from Revenge and DHL Stormers cheerleaders unavailable. And come on the Stormers, we can go all the way, says Ruben. So the biggest thing now will be don't concede straight away. Because if Connacht can get straight back into this contest, unconverted try for the draw, says James. Yeah, I think a draw, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would not really benefit either of these sides per se, but it also wouldn't be a bad result in terms of better than losing. Keep up the pressure, Stormers, says Viv B. It's like how both of these sides will more than likely get a bonus point for being within 7, whoever loses. So someone's walking away with 5, someone's walking away with 2. That's going to be knocked on there from Connacht, or I thought it was, but it looks like they're going to say play on here. Must have been knocked back off the Stormers' hand. Now cross kick attempted and goes out on the full. Trying a bit of a play there. Ben Loader eyeing up Jennings, saying, I would have got you. And out says Ruth. And we have got there, keep up the pressure, Stormers, says Viv B. And you too, says Corey. And there too, Wataka Lance still has another 45 seconds before he's allowed to make his way back out onto the field for the final few moments. It's such a fast first half and a very stressful second half, says Ruben. Yeah, it's pretty much been polar opposites, hasn't it? We've had 8 tries in the first half, 2 tries in the second. In fact, no, sorry, only 1 try in the second, but penalties. And that's going to be well stolen on the halfway line by Connacht. Now, oh, that didn't look like much of a wrap there, and that's going to be the advantage going against Lowe now, who went low and hard at the knee. And we have there's such a fast first half, and if we can have a Bulls Leinster semi-final, I'll back the Stormers, find a way through to play the Bulls in a repeat final, and they will go back now for this penalty. It was hit with real force as well, so might be a bit of an ugly one. Dangerous tackle, penalty only against Lowe now there. TMO is just having a look at this one too by the sounds of it to make sure that it wasn't too dangerous, although it looked pretty brutal in real time. Jack Carty now will be able to kick this one into touch, and with that we'll bring the Stormers back to 15. Warwick Lant now will be able to make his way on. And one more try, Stormers, says Blues Nate. Yeah, I think next try will win this game. And no penalties, says Aviv. 6 minutes left now. We're going to see the replay. It can be quite hard on the knee. Connacht, oh, big shot coming in from Damien Valimza. Trying to get the steal on the breakdown. It was just half a smidgen off touching that ball. Now passed out wide. Jennings, quick hands here from Connacht. Rush defence. Managing to get the offload. Back away. Brock Harris misses the tackle. There's a massive chance for Piers O'Connor. Now playing halfback will be Joe Joyce. Offloaded out the back, just short of the try line. He tried to go over, but he decides to leave it instead. 1 metre out from the line, and it is dropped by Jack Ngea. Or Anja, I should say, sorry. But almost over for Connacht there. That could have been the game. Brock, what are you doing? And beautiful commentary, Amish and Connacht might get that last gasp try. While they certainly had the perfect opportunity to do it, but it was dropped right on the goal line by the replacement tie here prop. That's the last thing that you want in that scenario, to be sitting there ready to carry as a big forward, and it just slips through your fingertips. Stormers need to solve their fullback issue. Hillant, a shell of his former self, and isn't Brock nearing retirement? Yeah, I think he's going to retire at the end of this year. They've also got a couple other guys that we're looking at possible retirement soon. I mean, Kitsoff we did see retire earlier on due to injuries. As Brock, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And Stormers for the win, says LFG, and blew it, says Jimbo. That is only the third handling error that Connacht have had for this match. It could be one of their most crucial drop balls here. Currently, the way that the table sits, the Stormers would be 7th, Connacht would be 11th. That can still change. What do you think of the yellow on Needling Fouchier? Says Tian. Oh, Needling Fouchier. That was the one from, was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? That Needling Fouchier did get the penalty. That's going to be another penalty, though, for the Stormers at scrum time. 5 metres out from their line. Another afternoon legend, says Tian. Welcome in. And now, chance for Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu. This one has to find touch. And he does just that, the good old days. Says Revenge. And Stormers killing the replacement tie head. Yeah, unfortunately for him, like, not only is he struggling at scrum time, but he also wasn't able to catch that ball before. So he's just getting all sorts of destroyed. It's the type of one now you really just want to avoid any sort of contact with the ball. As the red card says Ruben there. And the maul for the Stormers says Viv B. Now throwing this one in, almost stolen by Connacht at rolling maul time. Now it's setting up not too badly. Brock Harris having a bit of a wrestle there with the replacement 16, Dave Heffernan. It looks like again Paul DeVette will send this one up into the sky. 3 minutes now. Nice take. And a nice offload too, keeping the ball alive. Yeah, 3 minutes is not a long time when you are going back and forth. Definitely if you have a scrum. Scrum will take away about a minute of this contest, but they look like they're going to try and use their backline. Through the gap goes Santiago Cordero. Such a dangerous Argentine player. Once again, a drop ball from Connacht, but it did go backwards this time. Cam Prendergast runs board 40 metres out from their own line. Now, inside ball, nicely done. More metres made. Around the side. Carty. This is close to a steal this time in the breakdown for the Stormers. Surely that is good. Yes, it is. And the penalty now. Oh. So JD Schickerling won the ball. The referee said that is completely fine. And then he fell forward. So then his hands were on the ground and he played at it again. So that is a bit of a lucky one. And an unlucky one, I guess you could say, for JD Schickerling, as Carty will now be able to kick this one towards the sideline again. 78 minutes through. Still with plenty to play for. About probably 25 metres out from the line here for Connacht. And with 1.5 minutes left, this has to be their last chance. On attack, but we see it there, JD Schickerling. The hands were initially down, and same with the elbows, actually. So I think maybe I gave him a bit too much credit in that breakdown for it. And Matrix is 26 years ago. Can you believe it? Maybe you can. Says Revenge, uncontested from the Stormers, now in the middle of the park. It's going to be Ford. For sheer red, should have been a yellow at worst, according to the law. Head contact as yellow as primary sanction. With mitigation, surely there was enough mitigation. Not much more for Sheer could do. Says Reynaldo, now passing off to the left-hand side here for Connacht, going almost through. Stormers defensively sound just for now. But 1 minute left, another game that has come down to the wire. That was almost obstruction from Dave Heffernan. Evan Ruiz calling for a pass on the outside to Jennings. He's already scored 2 tries. We got one hat-trick hero in this game, that being Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu was a bit slower getting back up to his feet. 30 seconds now left on the clock. They're up to 5 phases. A handling error here would end the game for this Connacht team. Passes one more though. Santiago Cordero breaks through, and the Argentine superstar scores the try for Connacht that might just steal the win. 34-34 with the kick to come. The Stormers had done so well just to let it slip through their fingers in the final moments. And first try for Santiago Cordero in the URC. And no, says Vibby, no, says Revenge. And no conversion, please, says Vibby. So at best, the Stormers can draw now. But just letting them get too far up the field. And once again, that back line, that's the danger. We're going to see the replay there. That was obstruction. We mentioned about it at the time. Oh, the ref's going to go upstairs and look at that one. And I believe that's going to be ruled as no try if they do check that one for obstruction. I mentioned at the time Dave Heffernan was in front. And I think this is going to be, yep, they're going upstairs. This is going to be a win for the Stormers, ladies and gentlemen. Connacht did all the hard work of getting back in there to win it, but they won't be allowed. All right, this one's going to be a big TMO check here. And try at the def says roof, but I believe it is going to be disallowed. Like I said, Heffernan was in front. He made contact on Evan Ruiz, so it will count as obstruction, or at least it should. There are not many scenarios where this wouldn't be ruled as a penalty. Oh boy, I hope that's not a try. And Amish Rugby is a funny game, says Roof. Right, the TMO has found the right one here. So they did go off to the right-hand side, and there was the attacking run from Carty where Heffernan went through, made contact with Evan Ruiz, and whether or not he meant to or not, and whether or not Evan Ruiz kind of played into it by making a half tackle attempt on him, it is still the ruling, or at least it should be the way that it normally is. And that's clear obstruction, and that is going to be no try, which now means the Stormers, we are after the 80-minute period, so all they have to do is tap it, kick it into touch, and the Stormers will win the match. Break through the gap that obstruction made, says Jimbo. And let's go the Stormers, says Drape, and kick it out, says Viv B. And time is up, is the call from the ref. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu puts it out, and the Stormers, they left it a little late, you could say, in terms of being able to win that game, but a very low-scoring second half. Compared to the first half where we saw 50 points, in the second half, I believe we only saw, what was it, maybe 13? Somewhere around there. Connacht were robbed. I mean, that is the right decision for the obstruction. He was in front of the man, and normally, whether you've impacted it or not, if you're in front, that straight away takes you out of the any chance of anything but a penalty. I'm surprised that they missed it at the time, though, and I feel like if they hadn't missed it, it wouldn't have felt so substantial. Because then, of course, if they had called it at the time, still 90 seconds left, kick downfield, maybe a chance for Connacht to be able to steal the line out. But the way that happened, they continued attacking, and then they went back and did end up finding the obstruction. Let's go Munster. Says Blues, Nate, get out of jail free. Lucky Stormers, says Stephen, and they will get 5 points from this game, so they move up to 6th on the standings. Thank you so very much, Hamish. See you soon, no worries at all. I do thank you very much for being here. 15 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen, and then we are back for another matchup. That will be Munster versus the Bulls, the last one of the day. We have got, is it full time? It is indeed. So Stormers win this game, 34 points to 29. Hey, another game to download. Thanks, Hamish. Says Revenge. And there too, but nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you back in 15 minutes time. What is the time that start? Or that side, we are currently sitting 3:49 a.m. New Zealand time. So my sleep schedule is well and truly broken, so we might as well do another game. And it's a big one. Bulls taking on Munster as well. But thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.